Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Furious Pillow here, and this is my first episode of this series I like to call Nago Notes, series where I give quick tips and tricks to level up your Nago gameplay. Today we're going to start out against Potemkin, and I'm going to go over some of the tips that I can give you to control the neutral against him. And a lot of these strats I actually saw from Uriel Legion. He's actually a Spanish Nagoriyuki who got second in the European Evo. Really good Nagoriyuki player. Really showed off the tactics really well against his matches against Kurokish. So I'm going to put the links to those matches from this Evo run down in the description, as well as some of his socials if you want to follow him or check him out. He does stream as well, so definitely give him a follow and check him out. But he's really the one that kind of showed off these strats, and I really kind of took the ideas from him. But the biggest thing he showed off was just how effective 2H is in neutral. 2H is ridiculous. This button is so good because, as you can see, Potemkin here is crouching, and it still hits him. Like, he can't, there's nothing he can do to get out of it as long as he's in range. He can't crouch under it. I'll have him do 2P to try to get under it. He still gets smoked. I'll try to have him do 2K, still gets hit. I'll have him do 2D, and he still is not going to get under it. So there's really not a lot of options that he has in neutral against this button. And another reason it's so good is because it also stuffs one of his better approach tools, which is Mega Fist. So as you can see, 2H also smokes Mega Fist. So this is a very effective tool in neutral, and I don't even use 5H anymore, just because 2H pretty much covers that range that you want it to, while also covering the Mega Fist approach from the air. So definitely incorporate this in your game plan in controlling neutral against Potemkin. Don't let him in. Use this very effectively, and as you can see, it pushes super far back on block. So he really is hard pressed to find ways to get in and around this normal. Now, Potemkin isn't completely out of options, so I'm going to go over some of the counterplay that Potemkin has to try to get around this 2H button, and also some tips and tricks for how to deal with Potemkin's counterplay, stuff you can do on reaction. So the first one is probably the most important one, and the one he's probably going to use the most. It's his safest armor option, and that's Slidehead. This is a full screen, low hitting attack, and he's armored throughout. So if you just do 2H here, you're going to get blown up, you're going to get knocked down, and then he's going to Hammerfall cancel in, and it's not going to be a good time. So the big thing you want to do is actually abuse your spin, and if you actually time it right, you can go over the hit of Slidehead, because spin actually has airborne frames. You can actually go over the hit of Slidehead. And there's some times where you'll actually get a counter hit state, and that's because Slidehead is considered a projectile. So I would definitely recommend practicing this in training and just getting the timing down, because it's super useful in the matchup to prevent getting knocked down, and then also just converting into a lot of damage and really limiting this really effective option that he has. And again, even in neutral, you can use the airborne frames of spin to just get over Slidehead. So definitely something you want to start practicing and getting used to, because it's super effective in this matchup. So the next thing he can do is Hammerfall. That's really his only other armored option. And it's pretty effective up close if he knows when you're going to 2H. Mostly because you can't really cancel into anything in time to break the armor. But there is one thing you could do, and that is if you have meter, you can red RC, and that'll actually break the armor for you. Or if he doesn't have meter, this move actually is not safe on block. So a nice 5K punish will definitely make him regret doing that decision if he doesn't have the meter to make it safe. But definitely be aware, when they do have meter, they can go into a Gerudo setup afterwards. They can make it safe, and not only that, they can get pressure. So that's definitely a time where I like to try to save up meter to match their meter, so that I can prevent that situation from happening. But otherwise, you kind of just need to hold this, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's just something to be aware of as well. And then one thing as well, if you are going for RC armor break combos, is actually hitting him while he's armored. It doesn't actually drain your blood. If you can see, my blood is still draining super slowly, just passively. Even though I landed a 2H, usually it drains it by half a bar, but it didn't do anything there on the armor hit. So just something to be aware of if you're going for an RC conversion there. You might not be getting as much blood back as you think, so definitely try not to pop in that situation. The next thing that Potemkin can do to counter you just throwing out 2H in neutral is instant block. Will actually prevent all of the pushback. And the big thing is, a lot of times where you're in 2H range, you're also in his sweep range. And that's pretty scary because then he can, you know, dash in and start getting the strike throw mix-ups going. So, to counter this, if you see him do that, again, pretty much delayed spin is your best option. You want to try to counter hit him going for his punish attempt, if you know that he's going for that. So that's pretty much what you want to do. If you're really high blood though, you might just kind of need to hold the sweep because you really don't want to do slide and then risk yourself popping blood rage. So definitely an effective tool for him to use if he can pull that off when you're high in blood. And then the last one he can do is actually he can 6P your 2H and it'll force a clash if he times it right. Out of clash you can actually do any button. So he can actually punish you if he's ready by doing a 6P clash right into sweep. I don't know if a lot of Potemkins know about this, but if they're really experienced in the matchup, you might see this occasionally. But there is something you can do as well, and it's actually on reaction. You can just cancel into FD. So faultless defense is any 2 buttons and block. So you can just cancel into faultless defense. And you don't even need to hold it, you can just press it real quick and it'll let you block immediately. So this is definitely a way to stay safe in this scenario, especially on reaction to the clash. If you're really prepared for it, you can actually probably press like 2S and maybe counter hit them as well. But I would say FD is probably the safer option, and it maintains your spacing, which is really what you want. So those are pretty much all the options that Potemkin has. They're all very hard to execute, and I think there's still counterplay on Nagoryuki's side as well. So definitely get used to abusing 2H and spin in neutral to counter these options, these armored options, everything that Potemkin can do. And then control the neutral, make sure he's not getting in so you can just keep him out and keep chipping him down. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope these tips helped you out. And go out there and slay some Potemkins.